This is just part one of our series, Enemies of the Heart, and I can tell that this is going to be, it's going to go deep because today's message was also pretty impactful. Steve, thanks so much I feel angry right now. I just feel angry because we talked about you. Actually, I don't feel angry.
What do I owe you?
I know, a lot. Oh, where do we start? Hey, talk a little bit about, or expand a little bit on people that are attending with us today who the debt that other people carry for them is so huge because their whole life is different, and you're calling them to forgive, and that feels a little not cheap, but it feels like almost impossible because of how do you let go of something that's so impactful that changes the course of your life?
Yeah, I mean, so there's layers to it, right? It's not, because I don't think we're completely ever letting it go, because we're always going to remember that. It's more so we're not allowing that thing to control us anymore, which that's essentially the option. Am I going to continue to, if I loved you, I do love you, by the way, but
same.
If I loved you.
I love me too.
Then boo. If I loved you, then would I want you to continue to live in a cycle or rhythm where something that is detrimental to you has power and control over you? Or would I see that thing and go, hey, there's a way toward freedom from that? And is it challenging? Is it next to impossible? Is it difficult? Is it scary and threatening and all those things? Yeah, but I desire health for you. So I think if you're holding on to bitterness or malice or rage or anger toward anyone, then the goal is to release that in the sense that you're canceling that debt. You're canceling what that person owes you. Now, do they still technically owe you? Yeah, but you're canceling it. You're saying, from my perspective, you no longer owe me anymore.
Yeah, so you kind of bring it back to what does love require?
Yeah.
Love require of you for you?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's...
Well, we've said this for so long with that question. It's such a simple question, but it's so difficult. Because we can look at any different situation and go, what does love require? And you have to consider so many different things and really sit with what those things could mean and how they affect you. And usually they don't make things the goal isn't oh, my life is so much better all of a sudden, because it's challenging, it's hard. So, yeah.
It's really, really difficult. You talked about anger sometimes coming from a sense of entitlement, when your toddler was sure he was owed that cookie. How do we recognize and let go of these smaller debts so it doesn't build up? Yeah. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the process of contemplation or thinking back or review. A practice of review is really helpful at the end of any day, where you can look back and go, okay, when did I feel wronged, or when did I get angry today and why? And you can really dig into some of those things. And I think by doing that, those things don't start compounding and adding on top of each other. But I think entitlement comes in every facet of our lives. So we can look on it not with anger, but so many different things where it's ultimately, like we mentioned this a little bit in the sermon, it's about power and control. I want to be in a position of power. If I can be angry at you, then I still have the power, which consequently, if I'm angry at you, you actually have the power over me. So it's just this give and take that we have to process and consider throughout the day. And then, like I said, at the end of the day, to look back and go, why did that thing make me angry? How can I release it? How do I let go of that? And how do I cancel the debt that I feel that person owes me?
We also talk a lot about Cornerstone. We want to live in community with one another and be really close. And you talked about how anger actually isolates us. Yeah. Or becomes something. How do you stay open to healing? How do you stay open to connecting with others?
Well, I mean, oftentimes when we have that hurt, this is why going back to your first question, this is why I would tell you, because when tell you here's a way toward freedom and health, because when we have that hurt, we bring it into other relationships. Yeah. So now not only do we have anger toward that person, now that person that we're angry at is affecting the people that we love the most and care about the most, and is limiting that connection. And so I think it's not just the people that we are with, it's the people that we've been hurt by in the past that are affecting our community and connection now. And if we desire that depth of community, that intimacy, that level of connection that we hope for everyone, then I think it's necessary to look back on some of those things and see how that hurt is hindering current relationships.
I think this is one of those messages, Steve, that if we if we actually follow up on this and internalize this and do kind of what it says, this whole message, and leaning into forgiveness, I think it could change the entire church. It could change our community.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely changes us, but it also changes the connections that we have and who we're with. The challenging part is, like, when Jesus is telling Peter, like, no, 70 times 7 or 77 times whatever translation you want to go off there.
Yeah.
Like, this is not something that comes easily, but it's like anything with surrendering our life to Jesus. It's like counterculture, it's inverted from culture, but it's the way that Jesus says this is how you're intended to live. And so, of course, it's going to have far-reaching ramifications and implications on our lives and our connections.
In all the best ways, yeah. What a cool countercultural thing to do. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. If this message has brought up some things you'd like to explore more deeply, know that you're not alone. Here at Cornerstone, we've got the Tri-Valley Counseling Center right on our campus and here in Livermore, and they're here to provide a safe, compassionate space for you to work through whatever you're carrying today. Counseling, we believe, is such a powerful step towards healing, and there's no shame in reaching out. And remember, community is key. We just talked about that. And one of the best ways to grow and find encouragement is connecting with others. So whether you attend church online or you join us in person, sometimes there's so many ways to get involved, to meet others, to share in this journey together. So let's lean on each other and seek support. And let's let God work through us and our community. All right, as usual, here's a question to take things a little bit deeper as you reflect on today's message. We'll leave it up for a couple of minutes. So take this time to share your thoughts. Turn to someone next to you, or jump into the chat with our online community, or start a group text with friends, or jot it down at the top of your journal for today's entry. Here's the question: who in your life do you feel owes you something? And how might inviting God's help in forgiving them open your heart to peace and to healing? I'll see you next time.